Hello YouTube, it's Russ Strock, and I am back in my bee yard here on the 8th of December 2025 in southeast Michigan. It is 19 degrees out here, and I have walked through my bee yard looking at the sights and listening to the sounds of honeybees here in early December, and I thought I would share with you some of those sights and sounds and just kind of what I'm doing out here in early December in Michigan. So first, I want to just show you, this is the sunniest location in my bee yard, and share with you what it looks like here on December 8th. And interestingly, what's really quite visible today are the wax moth indentations you can see here along the bottom of this upper deep. This is from several years ago when I had these boxes stored in the winter. I had an infestation of wax moths, and the larvae begin to sort of burrow into the wood and leave these marks all along the bottom. So, when you freeze the boxes, scrape off the wax moth larvae, freeze the boxes, you can get rid of the infestation, but they do leave sort of that signature scar on the box itself. I'm going to once again put the phone down here right by the entrance. You can see the mouse guards on here. Just a few minutes ago, I put my ear down to the opening and I could hear those bees. So I'm going to count to 5. I'm going to leave the phone down there and hopefully you can hear the bees too. Yeah, so I'll do this again on another hive, but just kind of sharing the sights and the sounds. Here's my bee yard again. And so far I've knelt down in front of each of these 10 hives, and I could hear the honeybees in each one, but they sound different depending on where the cluster is in the boxes and how strong those clusters are. You can see the 2 in the back and the 1 here in the front. I'm going to put the phone down again and I'll count to 5 so you can hear this one. But before I do, I'll just point out that you can see the ice here on this landing board. And that's kind of exactly what you want to see. It means that the moisture that the bees are creating is sort of rolling down the inside on the sides of on the inside of these hives on the boxes and coming out the bottom on the side here, actually dripping down. So I'm going to put the phone here again. I'll count to 5 and hopefully you can hear these bees humming too. All right, I don't know if this is going to work. I'll listen to the video when I go inside and see if I can hear the bees. Before I started making the video, I knelt down in front of this hive, had a bee fly just about right into my ear. It came out probably hoping for a cleansing flight, went up into the sky, and I waited, but I didn't see it come back. You can see a few honeybees here in the snow that perished. They come out for cleansing flights and they don't make it back in. They're likely what remains of the summer bees, not the winter bees. The summer bees all expire before the middle of winter here, like we're starting to enter. Once again, here's another beehive, and I keep them I put these top, stuff on there. I put windbreaks up to try to protect them a little bit from the wind chill. Last night it got down to 7 degrees. It is 19 degrees right now at about 10:30 in the morning on Monday morning. And I don't know how the bees do it, but they get into a cluster and somehow they manage to survive. I had to protect all these blackberries this year with, as I've done each year, with trunk protectors, tree protectors. Otherwise, the rabbits, you can see their droppings in here right next to the next to the berries, they girdle. They eat the bark right off these canes. I had an old method I was using with chicken wire, and that works too. It's just a little more work, but especially when we get snow, the rabbits come in and they girdle my thornless blackberries. I'll do this one more time with the phone on one of these 2 hives and just see if we can. I'm going to listen first. Yeah, I can hear them in this hive, so I'm going to put the phone up and just count to 5. I hope you can hear them too, and I'll try this one as well. I'll just count to 5 again. I can actually hear those bees from here about a foot away. And once again, I can see the little bit of ice in the corners here where the bees are creating moisture on the inside that's running down the inside of the walls and freezing up on the side. Here's another hive, the second to the last one before I head out of the bee yard. I'm going to listen here once again. I can hear them, but I don't think it'll come through on the phone. This one on the end seems to be making the most noise, and you can see at the entrance here on the ground, the rabbits are down here digging up something, looking for food. I'll put the phone up here just for another couple seconds. There's some road noise, but I'm going to do it anyway. Hopefully you can hear the bees. It's about as close as I can get to enjoying and interacting with the honeybees. You know, during the winter when the snow is falling and the nights are cold, I worry about them. And I always wonder if they're going to survive. But I've done everything I can do right now, and so much of it is up to them to hopefully you've gotten them in a healthy condition with a big cluster. You've managed for mites. Got plenty of food on board, and I supplemental feed with sugar on top using the mountain camp method, and create some windbreaks. A lot of folks insulate on top. I've been using the moisture board as a form of insulation on top. I also find it interesting here as I watch the animal life in the winter that I find it interesting that the deer find this spot at night usually, and they eat the grass. It's right between 2 of the septic tank covers where the ground stays the warmest. The grass probably continues to grow and be nutritious. But they paw at it. You can see their trails coming to it from different directions. But that's what the deer are doing here. They're coming to eat right at that warm spot in the yard where the grass keeps growing. The last thing I wanted to show you all was what I've done here with these nuke boxes that I'm getting ready for spring. I actually brought them outside during this really cold spell. It got down to 7 degrees last night, and I put them all outside. Some of these have comb in there from prior years, and also the boxes, some of them are being reused, but I pointed out that wax moth damage on the wood, and wax moths can't survive freezing. So with it being as cold as it was, I thought I would bring these boxes out here yesterday and leave them out a couple of days in this really cold weather, just in case there's any larvae, any eggs left in those nuke boxes. Most of these have new comb, but several of them have been used in the past, as you can see from some of the color. You can see also some of the old wax in there. But those wax moths, they can really create a lot of damage if you don't kind of keep your eyes open for them and manage for them. But this'll do the trick. Here's an old box from prior years with my notes and stuff on them. I write on the boxes to keep track of queens and what might need to be done. You can see some of the wax here on the inside, but I did have a few moths. Sometimes when I sell a nucleus hive in the spring, I'll let people trade in some of their old equipment for a reduction in the price. And sure enough, this last summer when I did it last spring, I got some moths in one or more of the boxes that I accepted. So anyway, this will take care of that problem, and we should be in good shape. But just a good way to take advantage of the cold and the winter, to help deal with the wax moth problem. So anyway, YouTube, I hope you enjoy this video. Some of the sights and sounds here around southeast Michigan in my bee yard. Trying to live sustainably and, be observant about the bees, what they need, and the wildlife here on a very, very cold snap here at my place here in southeast Michigan. All right, have a good winter. Happy holidays. Take care.